Hello there, it's Jim Parsons, your Australian writing mentor, with lesson 27 of Write That Novel Now. Getting very close to the end of the course. We did some of these more esoteric things. Today I want to talk about your character's wants and needs, and that will lead us into talking about the character's inner journey. Now, when you think about our own lives, we have things that we want, we pursue those goals in life, but there are things that we need. Some of those things we're not even aware of. They're hidden, they're in the background. We all need love, we all need security, we need a sense of self-worth. And those needs are often masked. Sometimes we're really trying to find those things when we're pursuing wrong goals, things that we think will make us popular in a quest for self-worth, but it doesn't work. And that's true of your characters. We expect, as novel readers, we expect to find that our characters will change. The characters that we're reading about will change over the course of the novel, just as we change over the course of our lifetime. We'd be pretty odd people if the opinions and attitudes, ideas that we had when we were 16 or 17 were the same as they are when we're 70. We'd be a very static sort of person. That is true of our characters. If your characters are the same at the end as they were at the start, they're pretty well cardboard cutouts. Now, this is okay for some novels. If it's a detective series, maybe the detective doesn't have to change over the course of solving a murder. As you well know, if you read a few crime stories, they very often do. So there's also this personal element in the struggle as well. So today we're going to look at those two things, wants and needs. What does the character want? What does the character need? And do they get that? And then we're going to look at how to construct this inner journey. As the plot goes along, all the physical things that happen, the character is changing. The character is going on an interior journey as well. So I'm going to switch over now to a PowerPoint presentation, and let's look at that. Very well. Before we talk about the character's inner journey, I'd like to briefly touch on wants and needs, the difference between the two. I think most of you would know the difference between wants and needs. I think as kids, we'd say to mum, I want such and such. And a mother would say, yes, but what do you need? There's a difference. And that's true for our fictional characters as well. The wants and needs, let's have a look at wants first for our characters. In the novels that we write, wants are going to be easily identifiable, both to the character, they will know what they want, and they'll be very visible to your reader. In fact, the want might even drive the story. It could be the goal or quest that your character goes on in that main story. And so it's often a material thing, or else is tangible, like they want the kingship, or they want to save their family from destruction, or they want to achieve greatness in a particular field. So these are wants that can become goals in the story, and they're visible and they're tangible. It may be that the character wants to become a top surgeon, or find a rich husband or wife, or solve a murder, fight the system to assist a poor immigrant. So, they can even be an altruistic want, but there's still something that you can spell out that's very tangible and easy to explain. So they are wants. Needs are a different thing. Internal needs are intangible very often, and they speak of universal human needs, such as survival or acceptance, identity, competence, security, fulfillment, and loving intimacy. Now, these aren't things that you can just pick up by the handful, are they? They're not tangible. They're intangibles, and they speak for all of us in many cases. Usually one need will dominate a character for his life, or for the life of your book anyway. But it's often hidden and can often go undetected by the character as well. So often we don't really know what it is we need most. You know, we have all these wants, but they might be masking something, deep, profound need in us. And so these needs are often intangibles. If you were to even say to the character, what do you think your needs are? They probably couldn't answer. They probably feel they have no needs that need to be satisfied. And they're often very abstract things or feelings. This is very important for your plotting. Needs are sometimes masked by wants and false wants. Now, can I give you some examples? Let me see. We mentioned the person, your character, whose driving goal, in other words, what they want from life, be a top surgeon. So they struggle and they work, and you know, they might have difficulties like not having enough money for the university course, but all sorts of problems arise. But that's what they seek in life, to be a top surgeon. That is the visible want, but it could mask an underlying need to actually please parents. Daddy is a doctor, and so it's expected that son or the daughter is going to follow the father into medicine. And so even though the character isn't resistant, the character may not understand that deep down what he or she is trying to do is to follow in the parents' footsteps, please them as well. Or it may be that the person comes from a lowly background and sees that becoming a top surgeon could earn them community respect. Now, I've missaid that. It's not that they see that it could bring them. This is an underlying thing. They might not be aware of that. They may not say, oh, if I become a surgeon, everybody will respect me. No, but deep down, this is what's underpinning what we do. I mentioned the person whose goal in life is to find a rich partner, a rich wife, or a rich husband, right? It's a very superficial goal, most of us would say, although a lot of people have it. But on the surface, you know, there are material things. A rich partner means I'll have plenty of money to spend, or I can invest in my business. But could it be a deep-seated need for security after a childhood of poverty? Hence, that physical goal is actually a false one and could prove a disaster. There's this deep-seated need for security, and the character thinks that by marrying wealth, they will achieve that. And in fact, or they may not. So it could be a goal or a false goal that they're following. Even the humble murder mystery where the central character is trying to solve a murder. It makes sense that that's a want, that this is it's a crime against society and therefore needs to be fixed. That's their job. They're being paid to do it. So that's the basic want. But it could have a number of underlying needs. And of course, you often see this happening in some of the better murder stories, that there's a lot more going on than just solving the murder. There's a lot of things in the character's private life. It could come from a deep-rooted sense of protecting the moral code, a very moral person that wants to be a cop or a detective and solve murders because deep down, this is what they firmly believe in. Or they might be working their way through an early trauma of a murder of a family member. A sister was murdered, therefore this person is out to get any murderer because it makes them feel that something's been fixed in their life. Or they might like the surgeon, simply be earning respect of society, the respect of society for a job well done. So there's something there underpinning this basic need. Someone has been killed. I have to find out who did it. All right. I mentioned a more altruistic one of fighting the system to help a poor immigrant. On the surface, it's just a want. I want to do this. I want to help this person. But it could have a number of underlying needs as well. It could be a not so worthy thing to create a sense of self-worth, a feel-good moment. Oh, look how good I am. Now, that's not a very comfortable thought, but there are people. The character in helping poor immigrants may be paying back, shall we say, kindness or experience when in a similar situation as a child. Maybe they also were in a very impoverished position, immigrant badly. And so there's that sense, I need to do this for someone. Or they might be assuaging guilt. They had recognised that they had formerly had racist attitudes and they were quite unconcerned about immigration. And so this is a change of heart. Could be a Christian change of heart, could simply be a moral change of heart. And so that's the need that's lying under the surface. I hope those 4 examples give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say that there can be needs that are unexpressed, maybe even unknown to the character that are lying beneath the surface of the story. Okay, you're the writer, you're the narrator, and so you should be showing these things, not just telling the reader that these things exist. You've got to show them. Now, wants are easy to show. They're tangible. So we can see or hear the character dream about achieving this goal. He might talk aloud to other people about it. And then we can watch him or her set out and slowly attain this prize that's so precious to them. Make sense? Needs, now they're intangible. You just can't show the character picking up some honour or respect or loving and putting it into a handbag. Usually, as the character doesn't put a need into words, perhaps isn't even aware of the need, it becomes very difficult to demonstrate that it's even present. Now, this is such a challenge that you may fall into the trap of ending up trying to tell it, to show it with very little subtlety. Now, take it from me, your book will be far better if you never communicate it to your reader, if they just don't get it, that this is an underlying need, than to do it without any subtlety. In other words, they can only be hinted at or shown by their absence. Some examples. Let's say a character believes he has to be unencumbered to devote himself to a lively and rewarding career and loves to celebrate his freedom, ho, 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 with his friends. But then we see him come home from a busy day to sit alone in a living room for an hour or stroke the cat on his lap. And so while the character may fully believe that he, or could be a she, is happy, the reader is led to suspect otherwise by a little subtle manipulation of the circumstance, demonstrating loneliness without the character saying, oh, I am bored and lonely. Okay? You don't need to be that unsubtle. In the point I made earlier on, if your reader doesn't see this clue, whatever clues you put there, well, that's just too bad. You're better off not pushing it or telling it. Let's just hope they do notice, trying to communicate. So that's needs and wants. And I want to deal with that before we look at the protagonist's inner journey, because some of that is going to be part of that. It is often about that. I'm calling it a secret need or a hidden need. So as your plot, this physical pursuit of a physical, tangible goal is reached, the country is saved, the crime's solved, the romance blossoms, or the magic wand is found, whatever it was, very often we perceive a hidden or secret journey that runs parallel to that visible plot. And as readers, it's very satisfying for us to see that some deep need in the character has come to be resolved, even sometimes without the character realizing. Sometimes they do, and sometimes. And I'm sure you'll agree with me if you have a few books in mind where this is the case. And it's what makes some books richer and more rewarding than others. Now, an interesting variation of this inner journey is where the physical goal the character has been chasing all through the book denied to them. We all like happy endings. We presume, and it's true, that most book plots end up with the character achieving the goal they want, but sometimes they don't get it. Now, why? I mean, if they don't achieve their goal, this would seem to be a total disaster, wouldn't it? Why have we followed this character for 300 or 400 pages only to see them fail? But the character gets something else instead. Doesn't get what he wants, she wants, gets what he or she really needs and may not have realized. For example, in a romance novel, that gaudy, self-absorbed pop star that our character is besotted with manages to hook up with. He proves to be a creep. So she's devastated. But in the wonderful cliche that we see in so many old romances, that boy next door that she's been giving very little attention to proves to be the right one to give a lifetime of genuine, caring love. He's been there all along, sitting in the background. Of course, the reader has seen him and thinking, oh, goodness, why can't she look at Derek there? He's a lovely little fellow, right? And he's loved her since childhood. So there's an instance of it. The character doesn't get what they've been chasing, and something that the reader may be led to suspect is not good for them, will not bring them happiness, do get what they need, something that has far greater intrinsic value. Now, I've talked about wants and needs, and many of these inner journeys that we can track along with the physical outer journey, many of them do follow a need, but they don't always. Okay, they don't have to. It can be something else, and that is growth. As we go through life, we all change, or I believe so, and hopefully we grow, we mature. We throw off old ideas that are worn out, that maybe have not been good for us, and we grow, we mature. Life itself changes us. And your book will have more value and meaning for readers if they can see that the pursuit of the goal has effected change in the character's thinking and approach to life. If the reader can see that they've grown, and especially that they will make a change for the better. These are things we want to see happen in characters. To some degree, they may well reflect the changes that we have made ourselves and we want to see. The sort of thing I'm talking about is that cynical character, in the end, finds goodness in the world. The things that happen in the physical plot changes their outlook on life. The person that's bereft of all hope, good things happen in the plot and they find hope that lasts. Someone that's been rather flighty, superficial, perhaps, we'll pick it up. They might, as a character, be depicted as having a great time and playing it fast and loose, but somehow the writer will communicate to us, and in your case, as the writer, you will be making an effort to drop little hints to your reader that, okay, the character's having a great time, but is this good for them? And so eventually this character, through things that go wrong for them in life perhaps, will find themselves on solid ground at the end. The angry or disconnected person, a very popular character, shall we say, in fiction. The angry young man, should be a few angry young women around by now, I figure. The angry and the disconnected from society. Things happen to them, good people come into their lives, positive things happen over the course of your novel, and they find peace and perhaps friendship, perhaps even love. Well, I hope that brief excursion into the inner journey has given you something to think about. If you can't detect an inner journey in the central character in your book, give it some thought. there is just a possibility that there is an inner journey happening, and you just need to strengthen it to bring it out subtly, as I said. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Thank you. Well, sadly, that's it for lesson 27. I hope you got some interesting information from that. Next week, we'll be dealing with another esoteric thing, something that's not essential to your book, but if you're writing the right sort of novel for this, being able to incorporate the mythic hero's journey is something that will make your book sparkle. It will elements that absolutely grab people at a subconscious level. So that's next week, the mythic journey, the hero's journey. So come back next week and have a look at that. Meanwhile, if you've enjoyed this series of lessons and you would like me to be your personal writing mentor, contact me. I'll be giving you my email address. Contact me and you'll find that it's a very rewarding experience to have someone run a professional eye over the work that you're doing. Contact me and tell me what you're working on, and let's chat about it. Bye for now. Keep safe.